Wait a minute.
They are incredible at stunning huge groups of enemies and
Holy shit. What the f is that stun? I went mace. Every single point I had in the skill tree, I went to stun build up. And then this dude just, he's grenading his stun. Wait, what the is that?
Because I don't really talk about it. I don't make any videos on it.
How much did you play?
1,500 hours.
You got 1,500 hours?
Oh, I was sweaty. But it's like, I never posted a video, I never talked about it. It was just joy. This game was truly joy for me. I think that's the best part, is it's like, we can theory craft it from a couple skills and ascendancies, and then it's like, this unique, that's super accessible, game changer. And that's why I'm so excited. You just don't know what's gonna pop off.
We could have 6-man monkey stacking. We could do, you know, Return to the Planet of the Apes build. You know, from Toy Story, when they're like, we need more monkeys! That's basically what I'm saying. Just outside Anchorage, Alaska. If you look outside, it is cold, but we don't have to go nowhere. There's my backyard. No snow today. We have not really a podcast today. We're going to have a collab chat, whatever the f you want to call it, a stall-a-thon. My boy Imtosh, he's going to be playing PoE 2 as well, and he's going to come chat about PoE 2 today. Have you checked Rax's red hoodie today? You know, I saw that. I almost wanted to give him shit for being a traitor. Look at the man right here is wearing a red hoodie today. Traitor. He's a traitor to his own brand. Get him. I made a stupid ancestral monkey emote and posted in your Discord and PoE 2 chat. Do you like it? Let me look. I love it when people use the Discord. We get like 3 messages a week. What is this? Holy shit, that's actually good, dude. Wait, hold on. What the monkey do? There it is. Look at the monkey. There he goes. All right, W chatter. Very, very well done. I want to go hard glazing of the warrior. This is absolute hard warrior glazing. I watched the first 30 seconds of this and immediately thought, okay, the chat's going to love this.
The hype is real.
Okay, all right. Warrior glazing commits, and the first footage we see is the tutorial of him fighting versus a rock.
Today, we're diving deep into the warrior class and why it's shaping up to be an absolute game changer. If you still haven't decided about your first class, trust me, by the end of this video, you'll be ready to embrace the sheer power of the warrior.
All right, base G. Give him a base G.
The embodiment of raw physical power.
Hell yeah, log in, brother. This is exactly what I need to get my blood boiling before PoE 2. You gotta log in. Yes! Yes, the warrior will shine.
So, what sets the warrior apart in Path of Exile 2? Let's talk mechanics. First, we have the new class-specific ability, Adrenaline Rush. This is a game-changing mechanic.
Holy moly, we gotta learn to pair the footage with the hype. It's like, the warrior will f everyone's mom, and then it's like he's just straight up dying to level 1 minion, like pounding the ground, fighting versus a fucking rock. The warrior is the giga. Guys, if you aren't sold on warrior, I mean, what the hell are you thinking? Holy shit, dude. I need one of these videos every day, like injected straight into my fucking veins. I'm not gonna lie, dude. This is exactly the type of like copium hype video I need to be able to watch every day about the warrior. Just straight glazing. Adrenaline smash. You will shit on your enemy.
Solo player, no problem. The warrior's high sustain and damage.
Dude, stop showing the warrior dying. You're killing me, brother. Like, we have got to stop spreading propaganda that the warrior ever dies. Dude, this was unironically one of the favorite PoE 2 videos I have seen. Give him some love, dude. 118 subs. Come on, we can double that, right? Surely we can double that. The risk with all the hype is that you'll find it underwhelming. Not because it's bad, but because you're on a serious hype train. Objectively, you are correct, okay? Like, objectively, you're right. I'm not going to argue it. But here's why I'm allowing myself to go on this copium hype train. Because you have to realize, I have said many times, I understand over the last year, if you've watched my Twitch streams, I say I have like an impossible task of trying to keep myself from getting hyped for games. I use examples like Star Citizen because I love space games. Like, I just refuse to get hyped about that one. Ashes of Creation. Like, anytime you hear a bajillion good comments about it from a ton of different people and the hype seems overwhelming, a part of me starts to get pessimistic. Like, a part of me starts to be like, it sounds too good to be true. There's too much hype. There, you know, like, it's got to be a wave. Like, you start to think that. Correct. I agree with you. There's only one reason why this hype is either A, to be believed, or why I'm allowing myself to go full copium. And I would guarantee that most of the people know the reason before I say it and will start spamming in the chat. The reason is the company. ZiggyD themselves have proven to deliver time after time after time after time after time. So if this was another company or a no-name company or a first-time sales pitch, No Man's Sky, sort of like with Hello Games, that went from like, what was it, My Friend Joe or whatever that the game was to like No Man's Sky. Like if it was that thing where it's like, okay, they're kind of like trying to prove themselves with this game. If Path of Exile 2 was like the first iteration they're coming out with, okay, maybe. But like ZiggyD has continued to prove and deliver. And then the other side of it is I didn't play those other games. I didn't get a test Star Citizen multiple times. I didn't play Ashes of Creation. I don't know. It's just hard for me to get hyped. I have literally tested the game multiple times and have watched it go from iteration 1, in which it was actually kind of rough. I remember saying that like in my review, to iteration 2, in which it was significantly improved, to iteration 3, into which it's again significantly improved. So I've watched the process of go from like, oh, this is kind of rough, to like good to great. Like I've seen that happen. So those are my reasons. I'm allowing myself to go down the hype train. I refuse to be pessimistic on this one. I'm allowing myself to love one more time, basically. One more time. And then if that disappointment gets hit again, well, then I'll just become a bitter, aged old man. But for now, we're gonna be a child again.
Diablo 4 was Blizzard's fastest selling game of all time. There is
okay, here we do. How are you gonna go? I'm gonna go on that whole speech, and you're immediately gonna hit me with that fucking flashbang. 1 minute, 20 seconds into a PoE2 video, boom, Diablo 4 mentioned. Reset the clock.
Don't overthink things unless you really want to. You don't need to know the calculation behind how evasion works to know it will help you evade more attacks. Do people need this 30-minute video on Elden Ring damage calculations before they play it? That's insane. No.
Do people actually like watch guides on Elden Ring? I thought the point is like you pick up a weapon you think looks fun, you go in and you start hitting things in the face and then you learn to dodge. Do people actually like min-max fucking Elden Ring? How's yeah, for PvP, you can try hard for PvP. Okay, I tried PvP, and my PvP experience in Elden Ring was me literally lagging all over the fucking place, getting like teabagged, and then one shot. I don't stagger him at all. Is there a lag going on? Right. Oh, you got me. I was gonna swing. Did I not hit him there? Oh god. Oh, it's laggy in this shit too. Okay. So I don't, great PvP experience. I want to do another poll real quick about class pick here. Because every day that we've polled this, it's been the same answer. I'm not going to say what the same answer is because I don't want to influence. All right, what are people playing here? Oh, this is actually pretty close. Ranger Big L. Dude, Ranger gets bodied so fucking hard, it's ridiculous. So which is still winning? Are the Minion Andys actually getting some revenge here? Warriors getting bodied. Where the hell are all my Warrior players?
The other thing as well is that the next best action RPG, in my opinion, is Path of Exile 1.
This is the most base statement ever. I still think this is like, this isn't shots at anyone. This is reverse shots at themselves. Like, we have the best and the second best ARPG. And the hilarious part about it is you probably can't even argue it. Like, imagine being able to say we're number 1 and number 2 in a genre that's actually like super large. ARPG is not a small genre. Imagine loving your own game. I think a lot of people love their own game. I think this goes I think there's a lot of shitting on devs that I see. And in other games that are nameless, like I've met a lot of devs for a lot of games. And I almost very rarely meet a dev who does not enjoy or love their own game. They just normally have issues that they run into that makes it harder for them to create their own game. So I don't know. Very often I don't think it's like straight up the dev's fault. I blame higher ups as you get around there.
I want to show you the most extreme level of customization in this game and why it's so cool. Any non-boss monster that you kill, you can go up to the corpse and target it and capture it so that you can summon it as a minion of your own.
Oh God. I have this fear. I'm going to tell you guys about my nightmare. I live in fear of minions actually being completely disgusting, and I have to listen to Ghazi being extremely happy on launch of the game for over a year, and that melee is trash, and that one of his specters are literally better than my entire character. And the reason I live in this fear is because, 1, they actually look good. 2, is that scepters look absolutely fucking disgusting. And 3 is that scepters stack. And I don't see people talking about this shit very often. But what I'm talking about is the actual affixes on the scepters themselves literally are only like your allies get bonus percentage of this stat. And that's allies means everyone other than yourselves. And everyone's like, oh, it's balanced because you can't buff yourself. but you can buff the 5 other fucking minion degenerates in your party. Meaning if you have 6 people in a party and they all have scepters and they all are stacking the affix from the scepters on everyone else and everyone else's minions, you have effectively a 6-man minion circle jerk of giga supercharged minions that are probably each individually better than my entire warrior. And I don't think this is going to be something that is going to last, but it feels to me like 6-man party play scepter is an actual fucking meme. There's no way they didn't test that. I mean, maybe, I don't know. I haven't seen anything about it that says you can't do that. Who cares about party play? 0.01% of players. People like me who don't want minion Andes to be allowed to be happy. To be fair, minions actually look like they'll be pretty fun. You know, trolling aside, minions actually look like they're going to be pretty fun in PoE 2. If the monkey actually counts as a minion, we could have 6-man monkey stacking. We could do, you know, Return to the Planet of the Apes build with everyone in the chat, basically. And we could fucking spam a fuckload of monkeys, and we could scepter circle jerk, and we could have the strongest monkeys in the planet. If that's actually something that can happen, we'll 100% try stacking monkeys. Here's the footage of Mercenary grenade gameplay by ZiggyD.
Smell that burning sulfite. G'day folks, ZiggyD here. These are the glorious sights and sounds of a Mercenary Grenadier. Each skill has a different amount of shots before a reload too, so the shotgun style skills typically have just one shot and then they'll reload.
I just really like the grenades, but I really don't like the shotgun. I don't know what it is about the shotgun. Maybe it's like the pump style, the fact that none of the footage looks like super satisfying. It's maybe that's slow. I don't know. Am I wrong? Like, doesn't the shotgun look like kind of underwhelming or maybe not fun? The grenades look hype as fuck, but the shotgun just like does not sell me on it.
Some crossbows and passive skills can give you additional shots to any reload skill though, so that's a really big deal on things like fragmentation rounds where gaining one additional shot means halving how often you reload.
Might feel better when you play it, yeah, might.
Crossbow mercenaries reward a bit more of a considered non-spammy approach. Things get...
That's kind of cool gameplay style though, like you kind of prep, you use your moves when you should as opposed to just like seeing they're spamming the button. Yeah, I like that.
Be smoother as you go, as you'll get faster reloads, various support gems that can help in a bunch of different ways. You'll get more rounds in your magazines and utility skills that will also change things dramatically.
That's kind of cool. Like if you shoot it short, it gets stuck under the log, but you can shoot it over the log too. Like just the little, this is kind of like what Moxie was pointing out before, like the little additions of hitboxes are actually kind of nice.
And also there is just that element of getting used to this playstyle. Freeze is incredible in Path of Exile 2 in my opinion, thanks to the freeze build-up system. Everything will get frozen eventually.
The freeze actually looks really cool. I'm assuming the freeze is not just mercenary, that this is literally just a stat, so I could like kind of add freeze onto my hammer, for instance, and have both stun as well as freeze.
100%. And then they're frozen. Now, far better early game, and when a Grenadier started to feel like a thing for me, was when I got the flash grenades.
Flash grenade.
As soon as you can get these...
Oh, like knocks them back?
They deal physical damage in a large area, they have a short timer, a massive increase in stun effect, and they blind enemies. Blind him! With multiple projectile support, they are incredible at stunning huge groups of enemies and...
Holy shit, what the fuck is that stun? Wait a minute. What the fuck is that? I spent my entire, like I went mace, every single point I had in skill tree, I went to stun build up. Every single fucking thing I took was for stun. And then this dude he's grenading his stun. Wait, what the fuck is that? Are you kidding me?
So you can get a lot of those heavy stuns on bosses to get some nice damage cycles off. They do only have one charge to begin with, but later on you can get an extra cooldown. Flash grenades with multiple projectiles quickly became a main skill for me and were used off cooldown as much as possible. The stun, the damage, the area, the speediness of the
Okay, let's see this on the stun again.
Amazing.
What the fuck is that, Ziggy? Wait, what are those? This dude is doing 80, 90% off the fucking rip. Meanwhile, my warrior is like spamming like the spikes like over and over and over again, and then I have to do a war cry to explode them, and I get like 75. What the fuck? Bro, my entire build, I had no HP and no damage because every goddamn node I took was stun buildup. My entire passive tree was stun buildup. My moves were literally 500% more stun from Ruthless and then 80% more stun. I picked stun gems. I picked stun passive. I had a fucking rolling slam with the double. I was running melee. I was using a fucking hammer. And the entire build is stun. If I do one thing, it should have been to stun him. Now, you could say ZDPS and all that shit. Sure, I would take it. But the only thing I was supposed to do was stun. And I'm watching this dude stun him immediately just because. Holy shit. Can we, like, standardize making moves that are one line so I don't have to read this? Convert 60% of physical damage to fire damage. Knocks back enemies. Can fire 70 bullets before reloading. Maximum 17 heat. Rapid shots gain 10% of damage as fire per heat. Charges for 800% of attack. I've forgotten the beginning of this thing already. Does it do damage or nah? Like, I have, what the fuck?
Gas grenade is where you start getting some more grenade combos, and it's a pretty fun piece of the puzzle. As a baseline, it's a grenade with 3 charges that releases a poison explosion and then a lingering poison cloud that grows.
Not gonna lie, this Merc gameplay looks pretty fun. This is the first Mercenary gameplay where I'm like, okay, like this is actually looking pretty solid. The other Merc gameplay I've seen wasn't super exciting. This stuff actually looks pretty good.
The Ricochet node is not a long-term node for Grenadiers. I probably should have dropped it by this point, but I needed to highlight it because I do recommend taking it on any crossbow Merc, at least initially. The shotgun projectiles that you miss with will like hit a wall and bounce back to the enemies.
That's cool. Like the fact that it actually interacts with the wall. I'm just kind of hoping that there's going to be a lot of builds that actually have like projectiles like the orb one off the Archmage video when we saw the Archmage one where the lightning continues to go out in like 8 different ways depending upon the wild charge projectile. I'm just sitting here thinking in my head, it's like you're in the Archmage, you jump into like a hallway, you release 8 in a circle and they like bounce between the walls like crazy.
Honestly, if the numbers were any higher on this notable, it would be an Ascendancy node.
Do we have any insight on what Ascendancy might potentially be better than others after this intensive investigation? Yes. So there's one Ascendancy that's 50 times better than any other. That is the Warrior Titan. Just trust me. I'm not baiting you into just playing the class I am so that we all have the same similar ZDPS experience. There's the boy he's calling. We're going to chat with Imtosh. He's going to be playing PoE 2 as well. Hello, sir. How are you doing today?
Actually, mathematically, the Warrior Titan is not the best, and I'm going to tell you why. Because you're not a hot demon mama.
Oh, so you're going hot demon mama build.
Well, yeah. I mean, I kind of have to.
How you doing today, dude?
I'm excited. I'm excited for the next month of living in my dungeon playing Path of Exile 2. You're going Warrior Titan. That's your game plan?
Memes aside, Warrior Titan, unless there's one crucial bit of information that we're all kind of waiting for. The Warriors, we're all waiting on one other piece, because there's 2 Ascendancies, right? You got the Warrior Titan, which is like the mace, melee, Giga Chad, you're stunning people with 20% more health. You got the 20 inventory of the rucksack. There's one other potential Ascendancy that looks kind of good for the Warrior, which, because there's only 2 anyway, it's the Monkey. But no one actually knows what the Monkey totem build will do. They have this thing that lets you like spam infinite totems and all that on the tree. So there's an argument to be made that if ancestral spirits are like absolutely crazy, and you have totem infinite spam and you go like spirit reservation, then maybe that's insane. But like we kind of just like straight up don't know. So I'm gonna go Warrior Titan, but it's.
I think that's the best part. Is it's like we can theorycraft it from a couple skills and ascendancies, and then it's like this unique that's super accessible. Game changer for the archer class. Game changer for the demon mage, and that's why I'm so excited. You just don't know what's gonna pop off. Like, what's the tabula rasa early game item that's a game changer? What's the crazy pair of boots that all of a sudden, if you're not doing a fire build, you suck? I don't know. I think just like the theory crafting and finding the different things is going to be the big thing. And like, I think this game is going to take way longer to solve, even though it's going to be popular, even though there's a bunch of really smart people. I bet you there's like 10 different builds that just blow up bosses. There's 10 different builds that blow up maps and are safe for like, big clear and getting through your maps quick. I'm still trying to decide what I actually want to play.
Out of the Ascensions you saw, what is your favorite one that you're probably going to play, and what would be your backup and the reason why?
I think I'm going to go with the Demon Mama. Is that a witch?
Yeah, Witch Infernalist.
Yeah, Witch Infernalist. I think Witch Infernalist because Witch has also got some cool like summon stuff. And fun fact, never played any sort of summoning necromancer build in Path of Exile 1. Like 1,500 hours played, and I've just never done it. I've always done caster, and it might be fun to mess around with the minion stuff for a while. And, even for mapping, like, it might be kind of nice to hide behind my meat shields and just like not die on those maps in the start and brick my map system. So I feel like there's diversity going witch, and just the fire stuff looks cool. Like, you can stack a bunch of mana, and then because I guess the system changes, so now it almost like it's the reverse of mana, like it's always
like burns
up.
down or something. Yeah.
But from what I can tell, you would never not have mana. You can always cast infinitely. You would start ticking HP down, and if you're spending so much mana, like, it's going to keep filling up really quickly. But I don't think there's any reason or requirement for you to not be casting, which I think is pretty cool, because now it's like, well, maybe I don't really need to worry about mana generation at all. I don't have to worry about anything like that, and go all in on damage and other survivability. So I want to toy with that and see if it's like a cool build.
So second class that you're going to play then. You said Inferno Mommy, but if you had to pick another one, let's say Infernalist is like bug garbage or something on launch and you have to pick another class, who do you go second?
I think I'm going back to my FPS roots. And I'm shotgun blasting and putting full auto on my crossbow and playing the what is that, the Mercenary?
The Mercenary, yeah. The shotgun, AR, grenade.
So satisfying, bro. Like, and for me, it looks like you can do some pretty cool wave clear stuff, but I have a feeling you jack up some of those crossbows and they're going to be boss melters. I just got a bit of a vibe there that it's going to be cool for bossing. And that's my favorite part of the game, so I want to try that one. My only concern is you got to kind of change the ammo types, and it seems like you almost have to set up the abilities. Like, for me, when I see like the monk or whatever and it's like freeze them and shatter them, I don't love doing that myself. I kind of want to just blast with like one skill and like a couple support skills for me. And so that's my only worry is, am I always going to have to be putting down poison and then blow it up and all these different things? But I don't know. I think the gunplay and just the movement, now that it's WASD, that is a game changer for me. Even playing the casters felt so much more fun, being able to backpedal and cast. And for me, I think that the WASD just makes the game more fun and satisfying to play overall by a lot. Because I found when I would get into a big grind session, just like spam clicking around the map and casting my spells, like, I don't know, I would get a little annoyed, a little tired of it. And I've always been someone that enjoys more of the controlling with my mouse and keyboard or with an actual controller and being able to control the character that way. I don't love the feeling of like MOBA and attacking and movement as much. So I think this is a big win for me.
And the controller actually feels really good, to be honest. Like I had a chance to play. I had a chance to play it, or at least on the PlayStation controller. I haven't had a chance to try it with the Xbox. But the PlayStation controller plays really well. So if I'm doing like these 24-hour, on the launch live stream or something, 12 hours into that and we're just grinding maps or something, like I'm probably going to be doing it on controller where I can actually lean back. You're going to go pretty hard on launch. Are you all in, Andy? Like what's your move here? The launch is you got 5 days. So you're probably in setup and prep phase. Do you have you're going to move a mini fridge in there? I literally have a refrigerator sitting right here that I have not used. And I think it's going to get its first use. I think I'm going to be stocking it with food and everything so I don't have to leave the room.
Right. Fair. Yeah. As soon as I saw that dev stream and just like my knowledge of Path of Exile 1 and what I've seen, it was such a instant, like, this game is going to slap, not on launch, not a year in, but 5 years from now, it's still going to be growing and good and amazing. And so that's where this weird thing of, like, if I'm being honest, part of me wants to jump in on Path of Exile for personal selfish reasons. It's because I just genuinely want to play a game that I like and enjoy.
Hey, man.
So I'm going to make better content because of that. I think this is like a defining moment in my gaming, like RuneScape, defining thing where I remember seeing my cousin playing it and being like, I got to go home and try that. And there's so many different games that I've played and I've loved, and it's been like for me and still being a hobby and not a job. And Path of Exile is going to be a situation where it could probably be both. I can make some awesome, videos for people, but I just want to play this game because that's the thing is, people are like, wait, this guy plays Path of Exile? right? No, because I know don't really talk, but I don't make any videos on it.
How much did you play?
1,500 hours.
You got 1,500 hours.
Oh, I was sweaty, but it's like I never posted a video, never talked about it. It was just joy. This game was truly joy for me. Yeah, I don't know. I've loved doing the different builds, and this new game, it just looks better. It looks better.
Well, I mean, this is an obvious decision. You're actually a gamer. You actually play the game. It's actually going to be fun. It's actually good for content, bro. You got to go into the spiral. You got to give into the madness here. You absolutely have to.
Like for me, the Shaper and Uber Elder and stuff, that is the most fun content, the boss fights. And I remember the first time I fought it and the first time I died to it, I was like, holy shit. I just unlocked like a new part of this game I didn't realize I was gonna like. I enjoyed the mapping, playing through it was cool, but then I fought that boss and I was like, okay.
So like I know 100% what you're saying, because in PoE 1, I was like, okay, this game's good. It's obviously good. The campaign is like brutal, your first time through, et cetera, et cetera. But when I really got sucked in, the people who watch know that when I really got sucked in was Shaper. It's exactly what you're saying. The Shaper boss fight, where you have the beams, and then you get teleported out, and you got to go across the map, and you're running, and you're basically timed, because you see like you do all this shit, and you're like, holy shit, this boss fight is good. And then he's yelling like, irrelevant! He's like screaming at you, and all the music was fire, the voice lines were fire, and PoE does something that I really, really, really wish was a borderline mandatory thing for boss fights, which is bosses need to shit talk you with good voice lines that are well voice acted. Like every boss should do this. Like I hate it when you're fighting a boss, especially like an in-game boss. Let's just put it this way. There's a certain ARPG, which we'll rename nameless, that the final boss fight is literally dead silent. Like you should have voice lines that are relevant to the thing with good music. Like if you're having a silent fight at the end, it's just a boner killer, bro. Like you get teased all the way up to this fight, and then it's just dead ass fucking quiet. But PoE 2 is just such a focus on bosses again, that like the reason I fell in love with PoE 1 so much was the bosses. So going into PoE 2, it's like they're focusing on the bosses even more.
The presence of the boss, the music, the theme, like I do think that is some of the magic maker. Did you ever play Destiny 2 at all?
Yeah, I played Destiny 1 and I played Destiny 2. I was never super good at it, but I did do some. Like I did, what was it, Vault of Glass? Like I did some of the raids back in the day. I know a little bit. Definitely not an expert.
Yeah, there was a raid boss, a few years ago or a couple years ago or whatever, and his name was Rolk. And he's kind of taunting you throughout the raid and saying all these different things, and like I'm essentially going to end you. And then you come and fight him, and he's this ominous presence, and he kind of walks around the battlefield. But if he gets close to you, he literally runs up and he boots you. Like he kicks you in the face, and he one-shots you. And it's so interesting, the vibe of that, and this ominous presence of this guy slowly walking towards you, that completely made the fight memorable and change it. And even if he wasn't saying anything the whole time, it was like that presence of like, I don't even need to sprint at you. I can just walk towards you, and if you don't get out of my way, you're done. You start throwing the music in and all these things, and they're talking to you, and it takes it to that next level. And when it's just like a big boss going and slamming down, it doesn't have that vibe, that memory, that feeling of like, I want to kill you, almost like on a personal level. When it's a big monster, it's like, okay, I should probably kill this thing, so I don't die. But when it's got that personality in the fight, it just takes it to the next level for me. Like I find that's the most memorable thing. Even like in Dark Souls, like some of the things they say before the fight to you, it just makes it more personal, I find.
Here's a question for you. Do you think the cinematic that they did for Path of Exile 2 was more or less than what you would have expected for the first Path of Exile 2 cinematic? Because that was the first one they've ever done, right? Is my understanding. I know they keep saying Blizzard's like the standard. They don't think they lived up to it. But I actually thought it was like surprisingly pretty good as for the very first one.
Even if it wasn't up to Blizzard's standard and Blizzard was 10 out of 10, let's just say. What was this? 9.7? Like, come on. It was a great cinematic. There's facial details. Like, it looked really good. What did you want more? Well, what is going to take it to the actually 10 out of 10 level? For me, that's better than most cutscenes I've seen in many games. I don't need a ton of detail and a ton of exposition. I need a cutscene here and there, a couple things, and I just want to enjoy the world. And so I appreciate that they've gone that extra level or that extra step, and they've made a cutscene like that, because it makes me think I'm going to enjoy the story a lot more than Path of Exile 1.
One of the other things we got from the reveal was the in-game reveal and showing the sort of the mechanics. How are you feeling once you saw what the in-game content was as compared to what your expectations were?
Part of me feels like, not that they reused a lot of things in a bad way, but I was hoping that there would be like a couple more new things that are just completely different. But at the same time, I think they've chose some of the really beloved ones. And if you just double down and make them better, like now there's like a new end boss, like they really have taken what's good and evolved it. So that's good. It's also early access. And my guess is they got all these things in here because they know people like it. They thought of some good bosses, and it's going to be like the first season will be that new mechanic then. It's like everyone's kind of jumping in the game, learning the game. Some of the stuff's familiar. And then whenever they drop that new season, it'll be a brand new thing for us to enjoy. And I think that's honestly going to be kind of nice.
It's kind of like how they take, how when the new league comes out in PoE 1, they decide if it goes core or not. Some of them make core, some of them don't make core. Right. That's what it feels like it is for PoE 2, is they're redefining like what's core now. So they took, okay, well, we're going to do the same thing from PoE 1. Now the new core is this, and they once again filter down, okay, these are going to be the core game. And then exactly like you're saying, they said they're going to be doing, I think we're getting at least 2 leagues at least in the next 6 months is my understanding. So I think they said Blight's going to maybe wait one of them, or is a league, because they said they are bringing back some of the other leagues. They're just not done yet. And then hopefully we do get some new mechanics. I guess we could argue there's new mechanics, but like kind of not really. Like you have the Ascensions like different, but they're like the ultimatum's pretty much different. It's like kind of a new version of the ultimatum, but not exactly, a little bit different.
I think the other thing that is going to be interesting is not everyone has played all the same seasons either. I actually never got to play Delirium because there was another game launching, I want to say. Oh. And so I never played Delirium. I think I've walked through like a couple Delirium mirrors in my life. Like I just haven't really got to experience it, haven't checked out the bosses. I never did I don't know what they call it, the Crucible, or like it's kind of like the waves, like the end game part of it.
Oh yeah.
Like I really don't know a whole bunch about Delirium. Yeah, I just haven't really interacted with that content a lot. So that one for me is a brand new thing. I think for a lot of players, I get veterans might be frustrated with certain things coming back, but there's a lot of people that are going to try this game for the first time. There's a lot of people that are going to be interacting with some of these leagues for the first time, or these mechanics. And I think they struck a pretty good balance here.
How do you feel about the way that they're doing the mapping system now, where instead of sort of having like a map device where you're going to put your maps in, we still have waypoints granted, which are kind of like sort of similar, but instead of like, okay, you found a unique map, you put it in, opens a unique map, you're like both finding the unique maps on the atlas as you explore. There's biomes, there's drops related to the biomes. It's more of a world exploration instead of you're sitting in your hideout, you're kind of in the middle of space, as they said, in the middle of nowhere, and you're just like randomly going into instances. Do you feel like that gives you a little bit more of a connection to the game, or it doesn't really matter? Or what's your take on having it be more of a world, at least visually presented?
I don't mind it. My question is, because they've said it's essentially endless, is it like a procedurally generated thing that is endless? Or
so we do have an answer to that, actually.
Oh, we do? Okay.
Yeah, there was. So there was some screenshots by one of the devs who was talking in the Discord that says it's infinite in the way the delve is infinite, which is like technically eventually it runs out, but you would have to be Steve in order to do it. It's not technically infinite, or at least as far as this one Discord post goes, but it's it's for all intents and purposes, it's basically infinite.
I'm cool with it. I think it's like a fun mini game, almost like Slay the Spire. You're making different decisions and branching out.
That's a great game, by the way.
I love that. I love that feeling of like making my path through it and being like, well, I want to do this activity, and hey, there's a tower over there that maybe I can unlock if I do the maps near here. Because they've said that is like there's certain things. It's like, we're not going to tell you how to unlock this. Well, I want to find out how to unlock it, and the map system seems a bit more interesting to interact with.
When the launch comes, I'm assuming you're streaming launch day. Are you going 24-hour? What's your plan for launch? You got like a stream plan?
So I've got 2 boys. I'm a very young dad, so I've got a 14-year-old boy that plays AAA hockey, and he's playing a team on Saturday that I really want to watch that game because it's like his old team, and now he's on a different team.
Oh, the rivalry, yeah.
He's playing some guys that he's played with a lot of his life. I want to see the parents. I want to see who wins. I want my my kid to pop off and do really good. And so for sure on Saturday I'm going to that game. but we also have a 2-year-old. And it's like,
yeah.
I gotta help out at bedtime. I gotta be a dad as well. I do want to grind this game. I want to make content. I want to pop off, but I do not want to miss out on life either.
Yeah.
And I'll tell you one of my biggest regrets in life. One of my biggest regrets. Gonna try not to tear up here. I did a Destiny raid race. I knew it was coming. I prepared for it with my team. Everyone was committed, and so it's like I locked in. I made a commitment to my team to do it, and we did it. And I knew I was gonna miss one of my son's hockey games, and he ended up getting a hat trick, and I wasn't there to see it. And at the end of the day, I might have got some more viewers and I got a couple dollars, but it wasn't fucking worth it. I just wish I would have seen that goddamn hockey game. And I still think about it. And it's been multiple years. And that moment changed things for me where it's like, it just felt wrong. We went and beat that boss. And it was like, who
You
cares?
didn't care.
Who
Yeah.
gives a shit?
Good on you, dude. I mean, that's a hell of a story, but I've degened it out. I'm going to continue to degen it out.
Yeah. No, I mean, this is like a once in a lifetime thing. Like people stay outside for like movie launches and it's like this huge event. Like this is one of those things. This is something that like this might be one of my favorite games that I've ever played ever, and I want to be there for it like as much as I possibly can and take it in and there is that community aspect. Like everyone's streaming it, everyone's playing it, people are talking about it, tweeting about it, and that kind of thing. It's like when Animal Crossing came out. I didn't have any interest in Animal Crossing, but everyone is talking about like the whole market, and people are tweeting like, "Come to my world to sell your items here. You're getting better pricing." And like people I would never expect to be gaming,
Like
are
Pokemon
downloading
Go.
that game and playing it. Exactly. Yeah. It's like a community thing. It's something I want to be a part of and be there, on the ground floor with everybody. So,
Well, buddy.
anyways, December 6th can't come soon enough.
Shout out to the boy Imtosh. He'll be playing as well. Follow my boy. Thanks for chatting, man. And it's good to have a moment to talk to you again. It's been a minute.
Yeah, it was awesome. Yeah, thanks for having me, buddy. Talk to you soon.
Love you, buddy. You have a good one. What a guy. What a guy, dude. Man, it sounds like an absolute giga chat of a dad. The guy's priorities straight. You see, look at Path of Exile 2. Bringing people from every genre together. I'm not crying, you're crying. No, shout out to Imtosh, man. All right, everybody. Big W. Good stream today. Appreciate all the love. Thanks for coming by. See you in the morning at 12 p.m. PST. That's 3 p.m. EST. Have a wonderful day.